I'm Yusuf Ayo Tajudeen. I represent the people of Kaba, Bunu, Ijumu Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill for an act to establish a scholarship board for the purpose of planning, implementing, and overseeing the federal scholarship scheme and for other matters related, HB 561, be read the second time, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The bill, Mr. Speaker, is to give legal teeth to an existing unit or department in the Federal Ministry of Education, which unfortunately being referred to a board, but it's not a board because there's nothing that makes it a board. Mr. Speaker, the intention of those who came about with Federal Scholarship Board is to make access to education easy to the downtrodden, to those who don't have the privilege of the finances required to access funds. In other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, the Scholarship Board offers students the privilege of taking loan to meet the requirement of their schooling, pay back when they are out of school and begin to work. It does a lot of things, Mr. Speaker. It means records are properly kept. Record of unemployment, statistics of those who get employment, because these funds are taken back when you are employed. What we have presently in Nigeria is that we have a unit or a department, Federal Ministry of Education, the appropriation is made to carry out this responsibility, and whoever oversees the unit or department can decide to even bear these resources, and nothing or little will be made available for the purpose of scholarship. Mr. Speaker, that has made it very unpopular for Nigerians to even, to assess and make use of the privilege of scholarship. I don't know of anybody in this chamber or without that has been able to access such fund in Nigeria. It is now reserved for those who have the privilege of those information and access to those who control it. Mr. Speaker, this bill does not seek to establish something new. The unit is already existing. Is to give legal teeth to it. Mr. Speaker, I appeal to my colleagues to see this as a way of democratizing access to education, of making it possible for everybody that desires to improve himself academically to not be hindered by fund. Mr. Speaker, I appeal to the House, as the House of the people, that naturally seek the common good of Nigerians, because that is what makes the Green Chamber noble, to support this bill and see to it that in the lifetime of this Parliament, because I had the privilege of coming up with this bill in last Parliament, went through first, second, and could not come to the third reading before the expiration of that tenure. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague, it is important that as a Parliament we help to really make it possible that what others enjoy in other parts of the world to access education without much hassle is brought to be in this country. I so appeal, Mr. Speaker, and seek your support, my dear colleagues. Thank you.
Deputy Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Umar Buba Jibril. I represent Lokoja, Kogi Federal Constituency of Kogi State. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very good bill, and I'm urging all my colleagues to support it. In fact, the first time I saw the bill, I wondered that all these years in the life of this country, we don't have a scholarship board. And then reading further, the bill highlighted the fact that there is a board, but it's a unit in the Ministry of Education. It therefore makes it look non-existent. And in doing so, a lot of Nigerians have been shortchanged in the process. Because I believe the process of awarding scholarship has not been transparent under this regime. And so, creating a board that is more or less independent can do a better job than what is presently available. Mr. Speaker, a lot of brilliant students are produced in this country, and most of them are from humble background. And we know what is happening in this country today. If you are not connected, you don't get what you deserve as a citizen. I therefore see this bill as an opportunity that will give access to brilliant but students of humble background. It is a bill that we should all support, and I believe is going to do a lot of justice by creating transparency in the system of awarding scholarship to our students in this country. Of course, it's going to give room to the best to be supported, funded, even beyond the shores of this country. And in the long run, the country stands to gain, because we must develop our best brains to achieve development. Mr. Speaker, I urge all of us to second this bill for second reading. Thank you.
Honorable Namdas.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdrazak Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye, Jada, Tongo, Mayo, Belwa. I'm from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this bill. In fact, when I saw this bill, like my leader just said, I never know that all this while that the scholarship board is just existing as a unit, not just having been established. I think it is good that our colleagues here, we should support this bill so that it should be autonomous. Because year in, year out, this house normally makes appropriations to this very board and to this very unit, and then they are not autonomous. They don't take charge of these finances. It depends on what is the people, the director of the PAMSEX in the ministry will, if they have priority on that or not. And it is important that our children are suffering. Some need this scholarship to study, but because the unit is not functional and people are not taking it as a priority, and that is why some of our bright young students, even in schools, cannot have access to funding. And therefore, by the time this is autonomous and they're given the power to continue to function, I can assure you that they'll make it a priority, and our Nigerian students will continue to benefit. And more so, the reason why this is even going to be simple is that since there's a unit that already exists, you are not going to get a new set of people that will work in that board. Already they exist. Once you make them independent, they are going to function. I think my colleagues should support this bill so that our children can get scholarship at the appropriate time. Some will even go outside this country to go and study. Not this one that only when you know people before you get scholarship. Thank you so much. This is my contribution to this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any more contributors? Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish a scholarship board for the purpose of planning, implementing, and overseeing a federal scholarship scheme and for other related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to Committee on Basic Education Services.